What's up, everybody? So today we're going to be playing Sims 4 in a new series I'm going to be calling Sims 4 The Masquerade. So what I'm planning on doing here is we're going to be playing The Sims as a vampire, and the behavior, the traits, and everything is going to be heavily based on Vampire the Masquerade, the tabletop RPG by White Wolf Games. The idea I'm going for here is that I love playing as vampire Sims. To me, they are so much fun. In fact, I more so play as vampires than as normal Sims. And the thing is, vampires can become basically godlike. They become insanely powerful very fast. And due to their immortality, I almost find them boring after a certain while, but I still love playing as them. So instead, I'm going to be using some of the rules and systems from Vampire the Masquerade to kind of limit what my vampire can and cannot do, just to kind of spice things up, make things more interesting. And I will be posting a separate video, so that way if you guys want to follow along and create your own vampire Sims based on Vampire the Masquerade, I will give you kind of a rundown of the clans as they're written in the tabletop, and how I personally portray them in The Sims. Now, by all means, this is not like a challenge. You can do whatever you want. I did think about creating a challenge based on Vampire the Masquerade, but maybe that'll come later, so just kind of going through everything here, showing you my character. I won't spend too much time explaining each clan, but I will explain his. Now, this character, Mr. Thaddius Clark, is of Clan Brujah. Now, Clan Brujah is very much, they're often described as sort of the hipsters of the vampire world. In ancient times, they were philosophers and philosopher kings. So they were very much part of the counterculture before counterculture was a thing. And I feel like just as I was making him, I didn't even know what clan he would be a part of, and I just, well, wound up making him as you see him. He's very hipster, very grungy, and I really get that Brujah feeling from him. So his traits are hot-headed, self-assured, and outgoing. Because the tabletop specifies that Clan Brujah very much appreciate being close to humanity. They want to maintain their humanity closely by interacting with people, by discussing new ideas, and really just feeling the mood of mankind instead of their vampiric nature. I would by no means call them the, quote, good vampires, because they're all vampires. Let's be honest, no one's the good guys there. But they are more close to humanity than most others would be. So they also come with a bit of a curse. Each vampire in Masquerade has their own specific weakness as a clan on top of the other weaknesses like sunlight, fire, and so on. And those being for the Brujah, that while ancient Brujah were philosopher kings, the modern Brujah are the rebels. These guys would, most of their kind are either something like a hipster or hippie, or they could just as easily be a member of a biker gang. These guys are the rebels. So his traits being hot-headed and self-assured, hell yeah, he believes exactly what he believes, and he's willing to fight for it. Now, for Mr. Clark here, I did give him the good vampire because he's trying to fit in. He's not going to deny what he is. He's not going to fight it. But at the same time, he's also trying not to be purely a monster. So just showing off his dark form here. I try not to go for anything way too terribly threatening, because that's exactly what he doesn't want to be, is a threat. He wants to coexist. Alright, so with all that in mind, I am going to go ahead and get this started. Alright, so now that we got him set up, I went and decided to put him in San Myshuno, mostly because I feel like a vampire would want to keep close to a natural food source, so naturally, being in a big city, crowded full of people, would probably be best for him. As well as the fact that, this is where all the hip new trends are getting started. But first, we need to do something about this apartment. This is definitely meant for some roomies, which unfortunately Mr. Clark does not have. So let's go ahead and fix that up, and I will be right back. Okay, so I would not at all say that I'm a huge decorator. I just kind of changed a few things. I gave him a better TV, I gave him a stereo. I wouldn't decide to keep the game console. I think he would probably enjoy that. I gave him a bookcase, turned this little mini bedroom into a small, I guess, office space. I'm planning on putting him in the journalist career, because I feel like, you know, working with social media and such like that would probably be a good idea for someone who wants to keep track of what's going on in the world of humans. You know, he's really wanting to keep closely in touch with what's going on in humanity. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just get him started, get him joining his career. Okay, so now that he has started his career as a writer, he's going to have to start reading some books. And while we're at it, I'm going to go ahead and break down vampire powers for you. So, like I was saying earlier, the powers that vampires can get a little ridiculous. Let me go and just hover over one as a good example. We won't be able to access this for quite a long time, but sunlight resistance. This, once it's maxed out, your vampire can go about in the daytime with no problems whatsoever. And really, if you were to just take your sim and do nothing but study vampire lore for maybe 2 days in game, you'll be able to get this ability no problem, to the point where you could just put all of your weaknesses into day phobia at some point, and there you go. He's, you know, not even worried about it. He can, you know, or maybe even thin-skinned. You know, you could do whatever you want, and yeah, you have no drawbacks to your powers. You're just, you know, godlike. Nothing can take you down except for not feeding and not storing your vampiric energy, which I am going to be leveling up a cult student just so that we do get a little bit more vampiric energy. The limitations I'm going to put on Thaddius because he's a Brujah. So Brujah in the tabletop get 3 different vampire powers that they tend to level up faster than most, just like any other vampire in Masquerade. Those in the original game are known as Presence, Potence, and Celerity. So the only major powers he's going to have throughout all of this is Vampiric Charm, the Vampiric Strength, and when we unlock it, Supernatural Speed. Otherwise, he's not going to have any other powers except for the things that all vampires should be able to do, like Vampiric Creation and Garlic Immunity, Eternally Welcome. These are things that in Masquerade do not affect vampires. Anyone can create a vampire. Garlic does not affect them, and they're not required to be invited into a residence. They can just come and go as they please as a common burglar or as a house guest. It doesn't really matter. So for now, poor guy, the only power he's going to have is that he uses less vampiric energy so he can, you know, stay alive. Yeah, he won't even be able to cast illusions. Man, this is gonna be fun. Taking a look at the good vampire aspiration, we're gonna need to reach vampire lore level 3 here soon. Of course, you must be a vampire, no problem there. Oh, and we are interrupted by the welcome wagon. Let's go ahead and invite our neighbors in. So, yet another little restriction I plan on putting on myself is that I don't plan on having him have too many close friends. You see, the title of the tabletop that this is inspired by, Vampire the Masquerade, refers to the first rule of vampirism. The Masquerade. You keep the secret of vampirism. These people are not allowed to know that he is a vampire. Now, it's always been kind of unclear to me if the world of The Sims just simply accepts that vampires are a thing. You know, you can talk to anyone about vampires and they express really no shock whatsoever. If you have the Sims 4 Get Famous, which I do, you can receive phone calls from your acquaintances and friends if you compel people to drink, because it will lower your reputation. So basically what this means for me is that he will talk about vampires to no one except other vampires. So that's going to be interesting. Also, his relationships will be difficult to maintain. He will try not to get too close to anyone just because he will outlive them. Oh boy, I just realized I set myself up for a really tough playthrough when it comes to maintaining the Masquerade. Because after all, since he is outgoing, this means his social need is going to degrade much faster. However, he did choose gregarious, or he did choose a social, very popular aspiration, so his friendships are going to go up a little bit faster too. So that's going to be alright. So as I'm sure you guys are probably wondering, I do plan on including more vampires as this series goes on. One by one, I might start introducing more of the clans and kind of showing off, you know, how I reflect my own interpretation of them. Thought about putting them all in one house, but I feel like that could get into some serious chaos. I've tried that before, having a house full of vampires. And what do you know, one by one they all died because I had to focus on one sim at a time just for my own sanity's sake. And what do you know, somebody was standing outside for literally no reason and got burned up in the sun. So that was just lovely. Sorry to say, Akira, that gourmet fruitcake is definitely going to go to waste. That's definitely one thing I do love about playing as vampires, is that, to a degree, some of your funds just accumulate over time because he never has to worry about eating or taking out the trash. So, yeah, the trash can will soon be replaced with the magic trash can. Wait a second. This apartment doesn't have a garbage can. I mean, I know they've got their garbage disposal, but they don't have a regular trash can just in this apartment. Hold up. We gotta fix this. As always. Oh, man. Don't have enough money for the magic trash can. Alright, well, I guess you're gonna wait. All I'm really worried about is that he definitely needs somebody, just anybody, to actually be with him so that he can go out and do things with friends, because otherwise he is going to lose his mind being an outgoing sim. You know, I almost never make a sim outgoing just because I like to focus on their skill building, and eventually they become so depressed because they're so lonely. I just can't stand it. I mean, that's my personal preference. No thank you. Alright, so they're getting out of here. They're all filing out. No biggie. You know, y'all do you. I think it's time to start learning about vampires. So, wow, that actually didn't take long at all for him to unlock the first vampire tome and for him to already start getting more powerful. And so the sun has finally set over San Myshuno, and it's time to go and peruse what's out there. It just so happens that we've caught Jasminder Beta. Ah, man, can't feed from pregnant sims. I mean, I'm glad that that's a thing. It does become a little bit frustrating, though, because I can't quite tell. You know, let's go into tab here for a minute. Whoa. You know, Jasminder doesn't look it. She's pretty early. I should have known that, because I've been playing The Sims 4 for quite a little while, and I've known for quite some time that Jasminder Beta is the only sim that starts any playthrough pregnant. I mean, that's kind of neat. It is kind of cool that they do think about these things, that, you know, we want to see other sims starting a family. So, yeah, she's the only sim in the game that actually starts the game pregnant. Hey, new friend. Care to help me out? So it looks like I actually took him out a little bit too early. The sun was still setting, so his vampiric energy is so low. Man, Brant seems to be in a bad mood. Let's see if we can get him over here so I can show him something a bit more interesting. Alright, now that we've fed, it's only 9 p.m. Why not? Let's take him out for a night on the town. Let's visit the karaoke bar. Gah! Reminder, note to self, fix my custom content. It's karaoke contest night. You know what? Just wanting to be out there for a night on the town? Let's do this. Let's do Hotter Than Sin. Why not?
Shoot, shoot, traveler, Gergagev, shoot, Kibble, Ricks, Tag, shoot, monster, shoot, nice whip, Yoda, shooty way.
You know, I used to do karaoke a lot just for fun, and he's not the worst singer I've ever heard. I have heard way worse than this. Apparently they're digging it. Except you. You, sir, are in a foul mood. See, a fun thing about the Brujah is that the Brujah have a bad habit of kind of stirring up trouble, so I might have to do a little bit of riling him up. Buddy, I think we're gonna have some words. Gonna have some words with him. Hey, man. You're saying some real... Oh, wow. I actually won? Alright, buddy. No, get back here. I am as old as you. And he's gone. Looks like I must have scared him off. Oh, great celebrities. This is probably the only thing I dislike about the Get Famous pack is that celebrities, whenever they show up, they just ruin anything that's going on. I've literally been at clubs before where specifically Brittany Cho has shown up and the DJ will literally stop whatever they're doing just to try to get a picture, and it just ruins the night. Like, I straight up get an angry or bored moodlet because the night out was crap, because a celebrity ruined it. Okay, it looks like he's wanting to talk to Nancy Landgrab, so why not? Let's see how that goes. And she looks furious. Okay, so now she's suddenly not angry. I guess I'm just that charming. Oh, and then she's suddenly angry again. What you mad about? Let's try to calm her down. Hey, man, you gotta settle down. I don't know what's going on, but I didn't do anything to you. Was my set that bad? No? I mean, I guess I won. So, I guess it's your fault for not entering. Alright, so it looks like I went in and calmed her down. You know what? I feel like she would appreciate whispering about Brittany Cho. And I was right. Seems like she did enjoy the little bit of whispering. Oh, what do you know? Our buddy here is back. Looks like he is still in a foul mood. Alright, buddy, come on. Sorry, Nancy. We gotta have some words with this guy. He is being incredibly rude. Never actually tried riling someone up before, so I've never seen what happens. Looks like he is in a bad mood. What happened to you? You know what, buddy? You need to get the hell out of here. You need to leave. No, I'm not apologizing. Dude's being a jerk. So I noticed he was kind of having them shifty eyes, looking a little suspicious. Okay, he's a snob, so that explains at least a reason why he's uncomfortable right now, but it looks like he might be a random sim with the new paranoid trait. Yep, he is paranoid. That's why he's in such a bad mood. He's freaking out. He's tweaking. He's panicked because he thinks everyone's talking about him, which they are, so he has every right to be a little bit perturbed. Well, now that Mr. Clark's had a bit of a foul night, sure, he met some people, but he's also a little bit frustrated. Let's go ahead and get him out of here. Let's go somewhere new. So let's see who we will meet out here. Unfortunately, he's getting... Whoops. I hate when I do that. Try to use the bracket buttons to spin around, accidentally hit M, and what do you know? Just open up the map. Alright, so let's see who we will meet out here. Unfortunately, he's getting... Whoops. I hate when I do that. Try to use the bracket buttons to spin around, accidentally hit M, and what do you know? Just open up the map. Just open up the map. I love that she is in a formal wear at least, and he is just a slob. He doesn't care. To him, this is artistic expression, man. Can't be too confined by the social norms. Who are you? Who are you? Oh, it's Holly Alto. All right, so we got a famous painter, a B-lister, who has no idea what horrors lurk just beyond that door. If she looked up from her canvas, she might even notice what's going on. Oh, shoot. We gotta do something about him. We breached the Masquerade. So I never did think about what are we gonna do if somebody catches me feeding. What I was going to say is I wish that we had an ability that would make people forget that they've ever been fed on. You know, like an ability to cloud memories. That, to me, would be really useful for cases just like this. Somebody saw you feeding, and now suddenly your relationship is down, or somebody, you know, immediately has a bad perception of you. I wish we got an ability like that, but oh well. Can't do it all. Alright, so let's see what we can do about him. We may have to come back for him. You know what? I think I know just the way. Because it just so happens that I am aware that Mr. Bjergsen has a family. Now this guy, you know, Thaddius, he's a good guy. He's not he's not a bad guy, but by all means he does know what he has to do in order to maintain his secrecy. So we might have to do a little bit of blackmail. And if he wants to keep his family safe, he doesn't speak a word of this. I think we just found ourselves a new blood doll. We're gonna have to keep him close to us. We're gonna have to feed from him regularly to make sure he knows who's boss. So, unfortunately, Thaddius has really no other choice. It's either that, or I have to put him down. I have to do something to make Bjorn Bjergsen disappear. Because he knows too much now. He's probably seen way too much, and he could break the Masquerade and tell my secret to the world. And you know what? With that foreboding message, we are going to wrap up this first episode of Sims 4 The Masquerade as our Brujah, Thaddius Clark. Alright, if you guys like this video, go ahead and leave a like and a comment. Go ahead and share and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time.